She walks into your life like sunlight through stained glass, beautiful and captivating, casting colours you've never seen before. Her smile makes you forget your own name. Her laugh makes you believe in magic again. Her attention makes you feel chosen by the universe itself. But beneath that radiant surface lurks something darker, something that will slowly, systematically, deliberately destroy everything you've built about yourself. Something that will leave you questioning your sanity, your worth, your very perception of reality. Something that masquerades as love while practicing the art of psychological warfare. You tell yourself you're imagining things. You convince yourself that every relationship has problems. You rationalize away the red flags because the good moments feel so impossibly good. But deep in your gut, in that place where truth lives before your mind can edit it, you know something is fundamentally wrong. Today I'm going to show you the 8 most dangerous types of toxic women that no man should ever accept in his life. Not because they're evil, but because they're poison disguised as medicine. Not because you should hate them, but because you should protect yourself from them. And most importantly, because recognizing these patterns might save you from years of psychological destruction that some men never recover from. She doesn't just disagree with you, she dismantles your dignity piece by piece. Her words are surgical instruments designed to cut where it hurts most. She speaks to you in tones she would never use with her boss, her friends, or strangers on the street. You've become her emotional punching bag, the safe target for all her frustrations and insecurities. Watch how she talks about the men who came before you. Listen to the venom in her voice when she describes her exes. Notice how she reduces grown men to caricatures of their worst moments, how she strips them of humanity and transforms them into villains in her personal narrative. Every man who disappointed her becomes a monster. Every relationship that ended becomes evidence of male inadequacy. This is your preview of coming attractions. The same tongue that speaks poison about her past will eventually speak poison about you. The same lack of respect she shows others will eventually be directed at your heart, your dreams, your vulnerabilities, your manhood itself. But here's what makes this particularly insidious. She's testing your boundaries with every disrespectful word, every cutting comment, every moment she treats you as less than human. She's measuring how much abuse you'll accept, how low you'll allow your standards to sink, how much of your dignity you're willing to sacrifice for her presence. The moment you accept her disrespect, you teach her that disrespect is acceptable. The moment you tolerate her contempt, you signal that contempt is your price point. The moment you smile through her cruelty, you become complicit in your own destruction. Men who accept disrespect don't get more respect over time, they get more creative forms of disrespect. She doesn't admire your patience. She exploits your weakness. She doesn't appreciate your understanding. She interprets it as permission to escalate. Nothing is ever her fault. The universe conspires against her, men disappoint her, friends betray her, bosses discriminate against her, family misunderstands her. She's the perpetual victim in a world full of perpetrators, the innocent casualty in every conflict, the misunderstood heroine in every drama. She has perfected the art of responsibility deflection with the precision of a master swordsman. Every problem in her life has an external cause. Every failure has someone else's fingerprints on it. Every mistake belongs to circumstances beyond her control. She lives in a reality where she's always innocent and everyone else is always guilty. This isn't just annoying, it's psychologically dangerous. When you're in a relationship with someone who cannot accept responsibility for their actions, you become the default recipient of all blame. Your relationship problems become your problems. Her emotional issues become your emotional failures. Her bad decisions become evidence of your inadequate support. You'll find yourself walking on eggshells, constantly adjusting your behavior to avoid triggering her blame-shifting mechanisms. You'll start second-guessing your own perceptions, wondering if maybe you really are responsible for her happiness, her stability, her success in life. You'll begin accepting fault for things that have nothing to do with you because it's easier than fighting her reality distortion field. The woman who cannot look in the mirror and acknowledge her own flaws cannot grow, cannot change, cannot become a better partner. She's stuck in permanent victimhood, and she'll drag you into that prison with her if you let her. She floats through relationships like smoke through a room, present but not permanent, visible but not substantial. Commitment to her feels like imprisonment. Exclusivity feels like death, and the future feels like a trap she's too smart to fall into. She brags about her options the way collectors brag about their acquisitions. She name-drops her admirers like trophies on a shelf. She treats relationships like rental cars, convenient for the journey, but never intended for ownership. She's always got one foot out the door and one eye on the horizon. But here's what's particularly cruel about the commitment phantom. She makes you feel special for being chosen, while simultaneously making you feel insecure about being kept. She gives you just enough commitment to keep you invested, but never enough to make you secure. She's a master of the psychological push-pull that keeps men emotionally addicted to uncertainty. You'll find yourself constantly auditioning for a permanent role in her life, while she treats you like a temporary understudy. You'll compete with shadows, the men she might meet, the opportunities she might have, the life she might want that doesn't include you. You'll become grateful for scraps of commitment while she feeds you just enough to keep you hungry. If you're starting to recognize these patterns and want to understand the psychology behind toxic relationship dynamics, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell because protecting yourself from psychological manipulation requires ongoing education about these dangerous patterns. The woman who fears commitment isn't afraid of you. She's afraid of herself. She's afraid of being known completely, of being held accountable consistently, of being required to choose growth over comfort. And that fear will always be stronger than whatever she feels for you. She doesn't just fail to communicate, she weaponizes communication breakdown. Her words are landmines disguised as conversation. Her silence is punishment disguised as space. Her emotional expression is manipulation disguised as authenticity. She speaks in riddles when she should speak in plain language. She assumes you should know what she's thinking without her telling you. She punishes you for not reading her mind while refusing to open her thoughts to your understanding. She creates communication chaos and then blames you for the confusion. When you try to discuss problems, she deflects with emotions. When you express emotions, she demands logic. When you offer solutions, she moves the goalposts. When you ask for clarity, she provides confusion. She's not trying to be understood. She's trying to maintain control through communication manipulation. The most dangerous aspect of the communication assassin is how she makes you feel like you're the problem in every conversation. You leave every discussion feeling like you said the wrong thing, understood the wrong message, responded the wrong way. You start editing yourself, censoring your thoughts, walking on verbal eggshells to avoid triggering her communication traps. Healthy communication requires two people committed to understanding each other. Toxic communication involves one person committed to being misunderstood, while making the other person feel responsible for the misunderstanding. She doesn't see men, she sees resources. She doesn't evaluate character, she calculates net worth. She doesn't fall in love with hearts, she falls in love with portfolios. You're not a person to her, you're a lifestyle upgrade waiting to happen. Watch how she talks about other men. Listen to her criteria for attraction. Notice what impresses her and what disappoints her. If her conversations revolve around what men can provide rather than who men are, you're dealing with a transactional relationship specialist. She'll stay with you exactly as long as you're the best option available to her. The moment someone with a better car, bigger house, higher salary, or greater status appears, you'll become yesterday's news. She's not building a relationship with you, she's using you as a placeholder until something better comes along. The status vulture is particularly dangerous because she's often exceptionally skilled at making men feel special while she's evaluating them. She knows how to make you believe you're chosen for your unique qualities while she's actually calculating your practical benefits. She's a master of romantic camouflage, making opportunism look like love. You'll find yourself constantly trying to prove your worth through external achievements rather than being valued for your internal character. You'll compete with her fantasy of what she deserves, rather than being appreciated for what you are. You'll become an actor in her status climbing performance, rather than a partner in a genuine relationship. She doesn't trust because trust requires security, and security requires self-worth she doesn't possess. Her jealousy isn't about love, it's about ownership. Her possessiveness isn't about caring, it's about control. Her suspicion isn't about your behaviour, it's about her inner torment projected onto your life. It starts subtly. Little comments about how much time you spend with friends. Casual observations about how often you go out. Innocent questions about who you were with and what you did. She packages her control as concern, her suspicion as caring, her jealousy as love. But jealousy is a cancer that grows in the darkness of insecurity. What begins as mild questioning evolves into interrogation. Casual interest becomes invasive monitoring. Playful possessiveness becomes serious imprisonment. She'll want to know where you are, who you're with, what you're doing, every moment of every day. The jealousy dragon doesn't breathe fire to protect your relationship. She breathes fire to burn down your independence. She doesn't want to keep other women away from you. She wants to keep you away from your own life. She's not afraid of losing you to someone else. She's afraid of losing control over you. You'll find your world getting smaller and smaller as her jealousy gets bigger and bigger. Friends will become threats. Hobbies will become suspicious activities. Work colleagues will become potential affairs. Your mother will become competition for your attention. She'll systematically isolate you from everyone and everything that matters to you until she's all you have left. She can't feel what you feel because she's too busy feeling what she feels. Your pain doesn't register on her emotional radar because her own emotions are always broadcasting at maximum volume. Your needs disappear in the overwhelming noise of her needs. Your problems become invisible in the blinding light of her problems. When you're hurt, she's bored. When you're struggling, she's impatient. When you need support, she needs attention. When you require understanding, she requires admiration. When you're drowning, she's complaining about getting wet from the splash. This isn't just selfishness, it's emotional blindness. She literally cannot see beyond her own experience to understand yours. She lacks the psychological capacity to step outside herself and step inside your shoes. She's trapped in the prison of her own perspective, and she'll expect you to be trapped there with her. The empathy void creates relationships where only one person's emotions matter. Only one person's needs get met. Only one person's experience gets validated. You become an emotional servant in your own relationship, constantly giving support while never receiving it, constantly understanding while never being understood. You'll find yourself shrinking your problems to make room for hers, minimizing your pain to avoid competing with hers, hiding your needs to focus on hers. You'll become emotionally invisible in your own relationship while she remains the only person who matters. She doesn't just want attention, she needs it to survive. Attention is her oxygen, validation is her food, and being the center of focus is her natural habitat. She'll do whatever it takes to capture eyes, ears, and minds, regardless of the cost to her dignity or your relationship. Her social media presence is a carefully curated performance designed to harvest likes, comments, and followers. Every photo is calculated for maximum impact. Every post is engineered for maximum engagement. Every story is designed for maximum attention. She's not sharing her life, she's selling her image. But the attention vampire's hunger is never satisfied. No amount of likes fills the void inside her. No number of comments validates her worth. No level of admiration makes her feel complete. She's chasing external validation to fix internal emptiness, and it's a race she can never win. When you're with her, you'll constantly compete with her phone for her attention. You'll share her with thousands of strangers who know her image but not her heart. You'll watch her perform for audiences while she saves her worst behavior for you. The most dangerous aspect of the attention vampire is how she makes you complicit in her performance. You become a prop in her show, a supporting character in her social media narrative, a backstage assistant helping her maintain her public image, while she drains your private life of authenticity and intimacy. The most dangerous women don't just possess one of these traits. They possess combinations that create toxic cocktails more potent than any individual ingredient. The woman who combines disrespect with blame shifting. The commitment phantom who also happens to be a status vulture. The jealousy dragon with empathy void tendencies. These combinations create psychological complexity that can drive even strong men to the brink of madness. You're not just dealing with one form of toxicity. You're dealing with multiple forms that reinforce and amplify each other. The woman who can't accept responsibility for her actions but demands complete control over yours. The woman who seeks constant attention from strangers while showing no empathy for your feelings. Understanding these combinations is crucial because toxic women rarely present as obviously dangerous. They're masters of presenting their best qualities while hiding their worst tendencies until you're emotionally invested. They know how to be charming enough to hook you and toxic enough to destroy you. If you recognize yourself in these descriptions, if you see your relationship reflected in these patterns, know this. Recognizing toxicity is the first step toward freedom. You're not crazy for feeling confused, exhausted, or emotionally drained. You're not weak for staying longer than you should have. You're not stupid for believing someone could change. You're human, and humans are wired to see the best in people, to hope for transformation, to believe in the power of love to heal wounds. But some wounds can't be healed by love, and some people can't be changed by patience. Some situations require not more understanding, but more boundaries, not more compassion, but more self-protection. The path forward isn't about becoming hard or cynical. It's about becoming wise and selective. It's about understanding that not every woman who attracts you is good for you, that not every relationship that feels intense is healthy, that not every love story deserves a happy ending. You deserve a woman who respects you consistently, not conditionally. You deserve someone who takes responsibility for her actions and emotions. You deserve a partner who's committed to building something with you, not just using you until something better comes along. You deserve clear communication, not emotional warfare. You deserve to be valued for who you are, not what you can provide. Subscribe to this channel if you're committed to learning how to recognize and avoid toxic relationship patterns. Hit that notification bell because protecting your emotional and psychological well-being requires ongoing education about these dynamics. Most importantly, you deserve someone who sees your happiness as important as her own, who treats your heart as carefully as she treats her own, who brings empathy rather than emptiness to your relationship. You deserve someone who adds to your life rather than subtracting from it, who builds you up rather than tearing you down, who chooses you consistently rather than keeping you as an option. The moment you decide you won't accept toxicity is the moment you begin to reclaim your power. The moment you choose your peace over her presence is the moment you choose yourself over her manipulation. The moment you walk away from what's destroying you is the moment you walk toward what could heal you. No man should ever accept disrespect disguised as passion, control disguised as caring, or manipulation disguised as love. No man should ever compromise his mental health for someone else's comfort, his dignity for someone else's ego, his future for someone else's present convenience. These women are toxic not because they're evil, but because they're unhealed. They're dangerous not because they intend harm, but because they're incapable of preventing it. They're destructive not because they hate you, but because they hate themselves and can't help but spread that poison to everyone around them. Your job isn't to save them, heal them, or fix them. Your job is to protect yourself, preserve your sanity, and pursue relationships that enhance your life rather than endangering it. You can't love someone into emotional health. You can't patience someone into personal growth. And you can't sacrifice yourself into someone else's salvation. 31. The strongest thing you can do is walk away from toxicity, even when it wears a beautiful face. The wisest thing you can do is choose your peace over anyone else's problems. The most loving thing you can do for both yourself and them is refuse to enable their destructive behaviors by accepting them. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. You're not obligated to drown in someone else's ocean of problems. You're not responsible for healing someone else's brokenness at the cost of your own wholeness. Choose wisely, choose carefully, choose yourself. Because no man should ever accept toxicity, no matter how beautifully it's packaged or how convincingly it's disguised as love.